Hey, BSHL fans, and welcome to another edition of the unofficial BSHL Senior Hockey League podcast. Here's your hosts, the Corys.
Hello and welcome to the unofficial BSHL Senior Hockey League podcast. Corey, we're recording this on a Sunday night, a rare Sunday night recording.
Rare Sunday. Weather's not good. Looks like it's going to be a white Christmas. The game on Sunday has been canceled, so Dalhousie stayed home, Elsie stayed home, we stayed home. So everybody stayed home. I wasn't driving in that. If the game was, I'm a big loser when it comes to driving in the snow, and I get the sweats, and I don't like driving in the snow. So I wasn't going anyway. So it's a good thing that they canceled.
I love driving in the snow. I'm a weirdo. I go out sometimes just for fun, nothing to do, just for a drive around town, especially in the country.
Redneck.
Yeah, I love it. It's probably part of the reason that I bought a Jeep. Anyway, I have a staff Christmas dinner tomorrow night, so it kind of worked out that we're recording this on Sunday. So if anything happened on Monday, it's not going to be on this episode.
Yeah. It's funny because we thought of the same thing, but we didn't talk to each other, and I just was like, we're not doing anything tonight if you want to do that, if you're working late or something like that, because I know Mondays can be busy for Corey, especially on a big work day, and then he has to rush home to record with this goofball. And he had actually thought about recording after the game tonight, but no game, so we're recording, and we're going to get into the games of the week, the results of week 9. This is episode 28, by the way.
Episode 28.
Or episode 99?
Episode 99 of the podcast. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Interesting. We got a good interview at the end of this episode too.
Yeah, we do. We've got a great interview with Matthew Doudelet from High Button Sports.
Dude.
Great guy, great company. I really enjoyed the interview. It was a lot of fun. I think we talked as long after the interview as the interview was long. We just, we're shooting the shit. It was great.
They have a similar path to what they do that we did.
Oh, so. Yeah. Theirs was organic. Ours was organic. Theirs was, they're passionate about it. We're quite passionate about it.
A little bit, huh?
Jesus. Let's get into the game on Friday.
The game on Friday, the Les Corsaires de la Péninsule Acadienne, they beat the powerhouse Bucktouche JCs 7-5. Our old buddy, Patrick Jones, with 3 goals, 4 points. What a night for him.
Yeah, huge breakout night for Pat. He's such a great player. He hasn't gotten off to the greatest start this year, but man, he knocked one out of the park on Friday night. Pretty awesome to see. Wish we were there. Yeah,
I wish we were there too. Jean-Samuel Lagacé with the hat trick as well. Luc Williams with 1 goal, 2 points. Lucien Carl Saunier with 4 assists on the night. The JC's not to be outdone. Alexandre Jacob with 2 goals. Travis Duguay with 1 goal, 2 points. Josh Leblon with 1 goal, 2 points. Patrice Carmier with 1 goal. And Matthew Newcomb with 2 assists. This is looking like it's going to be game of the week.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is game of the week, just given that the JCs came out of the second period with the lead. I think Les Corsaires scored 5 unanswered in the third. Phenomenal, man. Good stuff. I think this is game of the week for sure.
I believe it was it Chantal?
Yeah, Chantal.
Shout out.
Former Lumberjack fan was at the game, wanted to go see Brandon Kenny and Benji Curtis and Brady, of course, Brady Patterson. So
I heard she's a hardcore Hawks fan now.
She's a big Hawks fan, she just loves to support all former Lumberjacks. So she was giving us updates throughout the game, which I appreciate a lot.
We really appreciate her. Shout out to her and Richard, who were at the game. Second game we were at. These aren't my favorite games, but Dalhousie needed a game like this.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Not my thing either, but man, did they dominate.
The Dalhousie Marauders beat the LC Puck Duck Hawks 10-3. I didn't stutter there. 10-3. Riley Scott with 3 goals, 4 points. My Putin buddy, Pascal Valcourt, one of the best nights I've seen him have. 2 goals, 5 points on the night. Jessico Bernard with 2 goals. Isaac Wilson with 1 goal, 2 points. Robert Peltier with 1 goal, 3 points. Jeremy Leblanc with 1 goal. Logan Toole with 2 assists. Ryan Mockler with 3 assists. Brendan Parson, I'm losing my breath here. Brendan Parson with 2 assists, and Elsie's Wayne the Train Jones with 1 goal, Adam Crow with 1 goal, Brody MacArthur with 1 goal, and Robbie Graham with 2 assists. During the live stream, I said it's pad the stats night for the Dalhousie Marauders.
They certainly made it interesting for the players of the week.
Yes.
Which we're still discussing as we speak. So those will be out sometime between now and Thursday. But
nothing official yet.
Right now, the stats for the Miramichi and Amherst game aren't online yet, so it makes it hard to finalize things. We have a really good idea where we're going, though.
Yeah. Speaking of that Amherst Miramichi game, the Amherst Ducks, they beat the Miramichi Northmen 3-2. Amherst, Renee George with 2 goals, 3 points. Tyler Copeland with 1 goal. Put an asterisk here. Maybe 2 assists for Parker Deegan. We're not 100% sure. Grant Donovan from Miramichi with 1 goal, and Brendan Milson with 1 goal. So these 2 goals for Miramichi, while we were doing the live stream, were completely wrong. We heard that it was Kennedy Gallant and Bryce Milson. Yeah. So this game, if the website could update, we could have found that out, but no dice.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Hopefully the website gets updated in the next day or two. Game of the week for sure, Bucktouche and Lake Corsair. We made the trip to Dalhousie, one of my favorites. Talk to me about that trip, Corey. How was the road game? Let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
How was the food at Saint Hubert?
It was fantastic. Took the chicken strips. Some of the best chicken strips ever.
Yeah, best chicken strips ever. Hashtag best chicken strips ever.
Well, whoa. Dixie Lee has some good chicken strips too.
Really? I've never had Dixie Lee chicken strips.
Oh, they're good.
Really?
Yeah, they're really good.
It's bizarre to me. would never think to get chicken strips there. Right on.
We'll try it next time.
We'll settle. First of all, settle the fuck down.
No.
Settle down. Secondly, maybe I will. I shouldn't scare you. I'm 25 minutes away on a good day. You're in Bucktouche, your mom's right now. So not 15, 20 minutes. But now it's snowing, so it would take me 40 minutes. You could easily lock your door.
I thought for sure because I'm 25 years older than you. I'm like, you're not that old.
No. I look that old, but I'm not that old. So the food was good. I had a club sandwich at Saint Hubert, in case anybody's wondering. We got to Dalhousie. Roads were pretty darn good.
Yeah.
We did see there was a house fire in Dalhousie. We're hoping everybody's okay. That was definitely upsetting to see, but our thoughts are with you guys. And, I'm not sure if there's somebody who would listen to the podcast, but it was definitely unfortunate to see that.
So I don't know if you were there. So I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. Claude Giroux used to live in that house.
Oh.
He was raised in that house, he said. So he was a little emotional.
Marc Giroux, you mean?
Marc Giroux.
You said Claude, who's, a great flyer.
Did I say Claude?
Yeah.
I watched the Flyers earlier, and I think they mentioned Claude Giroux.
Anyway, it was a scary-looking fire. I hope everybody got out safe. Unfortunate to see. But we did get to Dalhousie safely. We got to the game. Got our warm welcome from Peltier.
Everybody. Jesus. You'd think we're celebrities when we go there. I had so many people telling me, hey, how's it going? And shaking my hands. And I felt bad because I didn't know who any of these were.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Pretty nice people there. We're so supported. I want to take a second and say thanks to Popoff and Tammy. Always get a warm welcome from them. Nicest people, really, truly, two of the nicest people in the league. And so supportive of the podcast. And definitely we appreciate them a lot. But we, from Travis to Peltier to Giroux and then fans all around.
Mm-hmm.
The rink. It's
there was a fan in front of me.
Okay.
And I kept
Ray Jr.
Ray Jr., yeah.
It was Ray Jr., you said.
I don't drink a lot, but at one point he's like, hey, do you want a beer? And I'm like, I'm driving, and I wasn't driving. I don't know why I said that. I just don't drink.
You lied, is what you're telling me.
I lied. Sorry.
I've seen you had a couple beer at games. It's definitely rare, but I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't. there's a lot of drinking problems on my family side, so I just it's
avoid it as much as you can.
Avoid it as much as I can. Just
it's not for me.
It's not for me.
Also got to see Eric Babin last night. I always love to see Eric.
I did not get a little bit.
Yeah, it was during the game. I went to the other side and saw him, had a little chat with him. Kind of mentioned how we still talk about Babis and how we miss him in the chats, and you talk about people that are always going to be a part of this community and everything that we've built to, and how cool the chat's gotten. And you talk about like Bear Force and Adam and all those people in the chat, how great it is. But yeah, Babis, one of the OGs. So we still think about him. We still talk about him. And I don't think that'll ever stop so long as we're running the podcast.
No, he's sadly missed. Bear Force did not make it to, unless I missed him. I didn't see him in the live stream yesterday.
Oh, hopefully he's good. Before Christmas, I'm sure he's probably busy. But
probably busy.
But I heard that you were doing the live stream. Probably heard you were doing the live stream. He's like, fuck that. I'm good.
I said Claude Giroux earlier. That's not the first time I called Joey Morrison Joey Bernard.
You did, yeah.
And you like corrected me. That's Joey Morrison. And I go, oh, God, I'm an idiot. And the worst part is I know who he is.
Oh, yeah, I know you do.
This is Joey and Joey. Giroux and Giroux. So, apologies to everybody. I'm an idiot. I get it.
You're falling apart over here, Corey. I was talking with Trav before the game. And no secret, he's become a really good friend of the podcast, good friend of ours personally. And he's like, hey, try the hot dog. He's like, it's a new canteen, new owners. Their hot dog is wicked. He goes, the only issue with the hot dog is they don't heat the bun. But the hot dog's phenomenal. So apparently it comes from like Hank's Farm or something, he said. Don't remember exactly, but if that's accurate, great. If not, Travis will correct me. So I go, all right. So I go in there. Wanted to grab a Gatorade anyway, because when I'm taking pictures, I move around a lot. So get some steps in, wanted something to drink there. My throat's kind of
important.
Messed up right now. I'm kind of trying to fight off a flu. So I go grab this hot dog, and I literally just tear it into a bunch of pieces. Because we had just eaten at St. Bao. So I had no use to eat a hot dog. But we're the podcast. You tell me there's a good hot dog, we got to try it. So I got to just catch up. If you're really catch up, tear it into a bunch of pieces, give some to you, my mom, sister. I had a piece. It was solid.
It was really good.
It was a damn good hot dog.
The Miramichi hot dog a little bit. Like the flavor of the
slightly, I would say slightly higher quality.
Yeah.
A little bit less greasy, but damn good. Damn good hot dog.
It was really good. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot better if I wouldn't have been as full. Because we literally had just eaten an hour earlier.
Yeah. But you tell the podcasters good food, we gotta try it.
Yeah.
Think that's something we've committed to at this point?
Travis has no reason to lie to us. We take him by his word.
If he was such a great guy, he would have let us interview him after the game. But he just turned his back to Corey. Cruel, harsh, hurt. I personally, I wasn't the one who had their back turned on, and I was hurt. Oh my.
We'll give him a pass.
You're giving him a pass? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
We have some interviews from that game with Riley Scott and Jessica Bernard. Corey is currently coughing to the point where I think he's about to pass out.
Maybe.
Just maybe? That's all you've got? I just had one cough. I had to clear my throat.
Yeah, when I talk too much, I start coughing, but I'm good. Riley Scott and Jessica Bernard. One of the things that I started the interview with Jessica and I stopped it. And I go, French or English? And he goes, hey, it's your podcast, man. I don't care. I'm like, no, well, dealer's choice. And then he just went, okay, let's do it in French. I like to do interviews in French because French is my first language. Sure. I suck at French, though. I'm horrible. Like, I didn't even know.
Fine in this interview. I thought you did a great job.
Yeah. And the thing is, I went to French school. Corey went to English school. I learned more French from Corey than school.
You're welcome.
Like the one word that I had no clue. The French word for fans, les partisans.
What would you have called them?
Les fans.
Oh, okay. You would have shucked it.
I would have shucked it.
Yeah. I don't know why partisans is just a word. I suppose we're both Habs fans.
Yeah.
But I actually listen to the commentary when I watch LDS. You probably don't so much.
No, I do. I've started watching the Montreal games on the French channels because there's more content. You know, they show the 3
They have better
stars,
access.
Yeah. And on the English, once the game's over, the game's over.
Yeah,
and
completely.
So I'm French. I understand what they're saying sometimes. And I watch it in French now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think if you're French or if you're bilingual or if you understand French enough to get by, you should be watching the Montreal games in French because they've just got better access to the players. They do some stuff that's kind of fun. And it's that goofy French Quebec humor. I personally enjoy it a lot. It's a lot of fun. So, it was a good trip to Dalhousie. Hard to not say that's one of my favorite spots to go, just with the people and everything.
When it comes to
It's a
fans,
blast.
you know, every hockey player is going to say we have the best fans. And for you, yes.
Dalhousie can for sure say we have the most air horns.
We have the most. I love the Dalhousie fans just because, I don't know, there's just, my left ear is still ringing because of those air horns. Thank you, Popoff. He was right in front of us, and every time there was a goal or a penalty, boom, he's blasting that thing. And to me, I love that. He's having fun. He's watching his team. You know, there's something special about Dalhousie.
100%.
That's all I'm going to say. Just something special.
Yeah, it's a nice rink. They have a nice rink. It's, I don't know, just something about it, man. It's become one of my favorite spots to go for some hockey.
Most respectful fans too. Just there's a few people that we talked with for a long time. Yeah. And you know, they just say how much they appreciate what we do, and then we just talk hockey. There's one guy, I wish I would have gotten his name, talked about the Montreal Canadiens for probably a half hour.
Oh, he's another sucker just like us, eh?
Just like Montreal, they lost yesterday, but they had 2 wins before that. So, you know,
I'm really glad they're doing the rebuild and it's going well. So, you know, I love the joke, and it's been rough. Next weekend we'll be in Trackety on Friday night, but the girls, some of the podcasts will be in Bucktouche for the LC versus Bucktouche game, which I'm sure is going to be phenomenal. I
think the way it's going to work, me and Corey are going to be in Trackety, and the rest are going to be in Bucktouche.
Yeah.
Do the people know why we're in Trackety?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that we've formed a pretty good relationship, and we have a great deal of respect for Charles Austin. They're retiring some numbers. Charles and Serge are both getting their number retired. So we're going to be there to cover that. And it's going to be an honor and a pleasure to be there. We love Charles, and the Costad are a great organization. They've been fantastic to us. So we're looking forward to being there.
2 big rivalry games that same night, like the JCs and the Hawks. We've seen them twice this year. I've yet to see Dalhousie and the Peninsula, so I'm excited to see that game.
And it should be fun, but we're going to have coverage of both games. We'll have Ricky taking pictures in Bucktouche. We'll be in Trackety. We might try to live stream Trackety if we can get an internet connection. There's a lot of people from Dalhousie that'll want it if we can live stream it. So we'll see.
We'll try.
It'll depend on the connection. Yeah, it'll depend on the connection. If we can get the Wi-Fi password, we'll be good to go. But we'll see. It's a hard rink, as a lot of people know. And hopefully a lot of people from Dalhousie make the trip. It's not too far to Trackety.
Yeah. And in the comment section, who do you want to do live stream? Big Boss or the Cranky Elf?
Corey. The Cranky Elf's doing it. It just is what it is. You're a better live stream. You're better at the live stream. I don't mind taking pictures. We're both good at the pictures. We're both okay at the live stream too. But you actually have a lot of fun when you do the live stream for the most part. So
I like to talk.
I know. And you interact well with the chat and stuff. You do a really good job.
Yeah.
But so we'll be there on Friday, Saturday. I can't wait. I feel like I haven't been to Amherst in like a month. It's been too long.
It's been were you?
I wasn't at the November 11th game.
You were not.
I wasn't feeling very well, so I stayed home. But so for me, it's been about a month since I've been to Amherst, so I'm really, really looking forward to getting to that game. I think, who the hell are the Ducks even playing?
Isn't it the JCs?
Oh yeah, it is. It's the JCs. I'm really just looking forward to getting to the marsh again, getting to see some of those folks. Because you want to talk about nice people, man. Amherst has some phenomenal people.
Amherst got some great people. The drive back home from Dallas.
You're right. It is Bucktouche.
I know I'm right. The drive back home from Dalhousie, Corey got one of his laughing fits again, where he nearly passed out. And I don't remember what it was.
I do. So we were talking. There's a documentary. There's like Channel 5 News on YouTube. It's just this guy, Andrew something. I'm a big fan of news and documentary, and I watch too much YouTube. So we're watching him, and he's talking about like these pastors who have snakes or some weird thing. And my mom, Corey, just randomly says weird shit. So my mom and dad traveled a fair bit when they were a little bit younger. And my mom goes, yeah, we saw a snake charmer once in Tunisia. And Corey goes, I met her once. And then just goes right back to his phone to reading. And just the way that he said it was zero hesitation. I died laughing, and he's like, what the hell's going on? And I go, dude, and I tell him what he said. And I'm like, he's like, oh, I don't even realize I said that. And I was busting up, man. I was laughing so hard. We also had a couple other good ones on the drive. We had Shania Twain come on, and I was like, hey, Corey, who's that? And he was like, I have no fucking clue. And I was like, it's Any Man of Mine by Shania Twain, and this dickhead doesn't know who that is.
Any Man of Mine? Is that a song?
You see what I have to put up with? This is unreal.
What kind of name is that?
Who's their biggest hit? 95, way back.
That was like
she had the jeans
6.
and the little jean top and the fucking little I don't know. So she looked really good in that video, is what I'm saying.
All right, then.
Good God. This is, you know what? People messaged me and they were like, man, the Beyonce thing cracked some people up. The fact that you didn't know who Beyonce was. You're like, what's a Beyonce? Let's see. Have you heard of Billy Ray Cyrus?
Don't Tell My Heart, right?
Have you heard of Miley Cyrus?
Is that his wife?
All right, guys. After this, his daughter.
Okay, then.
Good God.
Millie.
All right.
Millie, what's her name?
Miley.
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
No.
She was like a Disney actress. Then she did some movies. She had a little music career. Whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to throw you a random name every episode and see where we go with it.
Sounds good. I can throw you a random wrestler and see if you know him.
Go for one.
Jumpin' Jeff Farmer.
Not a goddamn clue. You made that up.
Nope. Remember Botchamania, that guy that did a horrible promo, and he's like, "Oh, you got Motley Crue," and he goes, "Yep."
Nope, don't remember that at all.
I'm gonna send you that. It's anybody search jumping,
and I'll send you Any Man of Mine.
Sure, I'll listen to it. Never. If you want to see one of the worst wrestling promos ever, YouTube Jumping Jeff Farmer. Yep. And you'll see the worst piece of crap promo ever. Deer caught in the headlights looking at the camera, messing up his words. It's fantastic.
All right, Corey, we're going to throw to our interviews now with Riley Scott and Jessica Belnall. So we'll throw to those right now.
Sounds good. Corey with the podcast. You're here with Riley Scott. Big night for you guys. A dominating win, 10-3. You got the hat trick. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. We were kind of due for one of these blowout wins. We've been having a lot of tight games so far this season, so it was nice for the floodgates to open for us and build some confidence going into tomorrow night's game.
This place is incredibly loud when you guys score. How do you think of the fans here in Dalhousie?
Oh, I'm loving it in Dalhousie so far. We got passionate fans, and like you said, when that car horn's going there, it's great so far. And I think we definitely do have one of the loudest buildings in the league, I would say.
I would say so too. Tomorrow, you're in Elsie in their barn this time. What's the strategy?
We're not going to change anything. Obviously, it worked tonight. We know they're going to be playing a little rougher tomorrow. Home game. They're going to want to get the redemption after that big scoring output that we put on them there. So we're expecting it, but not change anything. It worked tonight, so just stick to our game plan and keep going hard.
Sounds good. Congratulations on your win, and good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you, Drive.
Thank you. Corey avec le podcast. Je suis avec Jessica Bernard. Une grosse win de soir contre les LC Puck Hawks, 10-3. Comment ça fait?
Ça fait du bien. Je veux dire, ça faisait longtemps qu'on n'a pas eu un match comme ça, depuis l'année passée. On a eu des bounces aujourd'hui. Ça donne un peu de confiance à pas mal beaucoup de gars sur notre équipe. Donc, content d'avoir la victoire puis gagner un petit peu de confiance. Mais ça va être un match beaucoup plus serré, difficile et physique demain. Donc, on célèbre ça ce soir jusqu'à minuit. Puis là, on on tourne la page puis on pense à demain.
Les partisans ici me disaient de toi que je faisais le live stream. Ça ressemble comme les Marauders de l'année passée. Comment ça file? Vous commencez à cliquer. Comment ça file, ça?
Ça fait du bien. Je veux dire, on était pas mal sur un haut après l'année passée, puis on a eu beaucoup de nouveaux joueurs cette année. On n'a pas eu vraiment une ligne qui était pareille. Donc, c'est ça, on essaie de trouver de la chimie, puis c'est ça, là, on commence à se trouver une identité. Donc, on commence à monter dans le bon temps parce que le hockey des playoffs de janvier est pas loin, là.
Demain, à LC, le rematch, comment ça va filer faire la trip?
Je veux dire, on s'attend à un bon match demain. LC est tout le temps tough dans leur propre building. Ils ont du bon support. Donc, c'est ça. Si qu'on peut être dans la game en troisième période puis donner notre mieux, je pense qu'on sera content avec ça. Puis si on peut aller chercher 2 points, c'est encore mieux.
Félicitations sur la grosse win, puis bonne chance demain.
All right, merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
All right, Corey. Good job with those interviews. I love when there's a French interview in the mix. It's fun. Now we're going to go...
Jessica's a pro.
Jessica's the best. Such a nice guy. Now we're going to go to our interview with Matthew Doudelet from High Button Sports. You enjoyed this interview, Corey?
Loved it. Cut from the same cloth from him. Just, you hear a story and you're like, yeah, I understand that. I understand that big time.
Yeah, the way that those guys, and I think he's one of their first employees. And he's got I think he said he schedules a lot of the stuff now. And it's amazing to see how High Button has grown.
Yeah.
And we'll never grow to that level, let's be honest here. But it's amazing that now we get to talk with people like that. And, it's awesome what they're doing with the Ducks. They're doing a phenomenal job. We really enjoy those live streams. It's nice that even when we're at another game, we can come home and catch the game.
Yeah.
It's really a treat. So shout out to everybody over at High Button. And we're going to throw that interview with Matthew Doudelet. And then we'll be back on Thursday. Thanks for being here, Corey.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Take care. I am not a tough man.
Oh, I'm a Leafs fan here, so that's what I'll say for the first thing there. So, but we'll get along for this.
Oh yeah,
we'll get along. We'll be fine.
A nice Ducks hat. It's fine.
All right, we're back with the podcast. Corey, joined by my co-host Corey, as usual.
G'day.
We have a special guest today from High Button Sports, Matthew Doudelet. Dudes, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, fellas. I really appreciate you guys having me on. I'm a big fan of you guys. I've been following along for a while here now.
We're big fans of you as well. I was watching High Button long before the podcast existed. I'll tell you, my little cousin plays in the Maritime Female Midget Hockey. It's a mouthful, but he's with the Western Flames, and there's a ton of teams in Nova Scotia. So anytime they're in Nova Scotia, you guys have been covering their games a lot, and I really enjoy the quality of the streams, the professionalism, and it's a great time. You guys kind of really popped off the last few years for sure.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. That's super nice to say. The streaming thing's kind of funny when it comes to the business of High Button Sports. Now I get to call it a business, which is nice. We really didn't set out to stream, to be honest with you. It started out as it was called The High Button. Now, before I go any further, I'm not the founder or anything like that. I kind of came on as the right-hand man at the beginning of it. So shout out to Justin Belanger, the CEO and founder, who keeps this thing rolling. But we never really set out to stream it. We started out as more of just like an entertainment podcast is what he wanted to do.
A High Button house.
Yeah, we did that. That was just kind of like a spinoff of MTV Cribs.
Yeah.
Anything you guys know how it goes on like YouTube and stuff like that. You're just trying to think of anything to even just create a little bit of a buzz. But Belly, he went to Vancouver for a little bit. He did some acting. A lot of people don't know that. Obviously, he played a little bit with the Halifax Mooseheads. Very personable guy, can have a conversation with anybody. And so that was just kind of something that he took on. He started to like randomly interview people. It was called the locals around here. And he would just kind of ask anybody who would come on. And in 2017, he had on, I think it was a filmmaker, Trevor Mack, I think was the name. And he invited him on the interview. And all of a sudden the High Button podcast had started. They used to do episodes in Vancouver, him and a guy named Tommy. And it was just like they would do random topics and stuff like that. But then it kind of shifted one overnight. I remember I woke up and on Twitter, we weren't the High Button anymore. We were High Button Sports. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that was kind of when it shifted. But yeah, like I said, we didn't really set out to stream. It was more of like a content creation business. And we just kind of lied one day and said we could, and we figured it out.
So how did the first stream happen? Because now you guys are really respected and widely known, especially in the Maritimes, for your streams. You guys just had a big tournament that you covered in PEI.
Yeah. Right here, actually, the Ed.
Yes, the Ed. Man, that looks like a great tournament.
Oh, man, I didn't actually get to go up myself. That's kind of one of my roles with High Button is the events coordinator and kind of scheduling and stuff like that. But I didn't get to go up. I did get to follow along, obviously. But, man, what a show they put on there like that. Amazing. I guess all I can say is I wish I was playing Pee Wee AAA hockey right now. Like, they put on a show, lights, and they give, like, the gold and silver helmets for, like, the top scorers and all that stuff. And it just, like, 100% for the kids, man. And our guys had a ton of fun up there.
A grilled cheese bar, championship rings for the kids that won. Like, man, hats off to those guys. It's amazing.
Seriously. Yeah, it was quite the show. President's Trophy Award for, like, the division winners, like Letterman jackets. You know, they incorporate the Junior A games into the mix, and it's a hot stove. I mean, it's a 24-team tournament as of this year. So, I mean, that, you know, if it grows every year, you're doing something right.
Absolutely. So how does it go from High Button House, the High Button podcast, to a couple streams you get asked to do to this? Let's fill that gap.
Yeah, I would say COVID had a big part in the growth of that, but it all started, we would just be around the rinks, man. Belly and I, we would, you know, we were just going in there. That's where we were comfortable. Him and I both grew up playing around here. So you still see a lot of the same faces and just going in there and just trying to do whatever we could. And I remember somebody asked us one time if we could stream their game, and we just said, yeah. And to a lot of things, that's kind of how we've grown, to be honest with you. But we didn't really know what we were doing. We knew, like, the general idea, you know, you needed to do it through YouTube or need to have internet, which we've learned a lot about over the years as well. But we just told ourselves we could do it. And we had, like, I think 2 weeks to figure out the first time, and it wasn't great. The first stream wasn't fantastic, but one thing that we did have was commentary. And that kind of seemed to keep people interested, I guess, and patient with us, because it wasn't really the norm. You know, like, you had commentators for, like, the big games, you know, the Ice Jam and stuff like that, but not on the consistent level that we were trying to bring.
So commentary was the key for you guys, and high quality. I mean, you guys brought the quality pretty early on. What was the setup like for those first streams? Just a tripod and a phone?
So, yeah, let me think back here. I know I used to do the Fundy Thunder was a team that kind of first gave us a chance, and I used to go to Churro on Saturday nights, and that's what it was. It was a rinky-dink tripod with I remember it was a pink iPhone, which we still have to this day in the studio, and it still works. But yeah, there was, even those ones didn't have commentary, so that was, like, really early on. And I remember just sitting there, just, like, moving the tripod and going, like, man, there's got to be a better way. And yeah, we've gone through a couple different systems in it, but it's the quality is one thing that we really try and bring. Like, that's one thing, like, sometimes people don't see it. You guys know it. In behind the scenes, you're working, you're busting your ass trying to give the best product you can. And sometimes it just doesn't come out that way. But, you know, we came up playing hockey, and we always said, you know, it would have been so cool to have this when we were playing. Like, my parents would have enjoyed it specifically. Like, I know my old man didn't get to go on the road trips and stuff like that. And quite frankly, the technology wasn't quite there yet either. But so we just try and make it as clear as possible. And, you know, it comes with your lumps, and you take a few on the chin, but eventually you get into a pocket and you start to figure things out a little bit.
So when did the switch happen from High Button just being like something you guys were doing for fun to being more of a, you know, a business, honestly?
That would have been, I would say, post-COVID, to be honest with you, because we kind of got a taste of what we could do or potentially do before it all hit. And then obviously nobody could go into the rinks. But we figured out a way that we could get into the rinks, and that was by streaming. So we just tried to pick up as many teams as we could, and we just spent as much time in the rink studying, internets and the networks and everything, and just getting to know the people, man, because you can't get stuff done around there if you don't, if the rink staff don't like you, I guess.
That's key. I think being in with the rink staff and working with them we've learned.
Definitely.
They're your best friend.
Oh, yes.
So we'll get to senior in a little bit here. What's the hardest rink that you guys have had to set up a stream in? I'm kind of curious.
Oh, man. Some of the rinks have beat my ass,
Have you been to Doketown? Doketown will down you.
What'd you say?
Doketown, New Brunswick.
Doketown. Man, you guys are in some rinks that I never even heard of.
It's like a triple layer of cement. So we tried to get our first stream there. It was nothing. And then we became good buddies with the Zamboni driver, and he hooked us up with their internet. Now we can stream from there. But even like a wireless hub, nothing would work in that rink.
So that's funny you say the Zamboni driver. That's like one of the main things that we focus on is the Zamboni drivers. It started out as kind of like a little bit of a joke, but you grow up and play, you don't really notice what goes on. But now once you're around the rinks and in the inner workings, you realize kind of what makes the hockey community buzz. So the Zamboni drivers are always in the know there because they're out there every day.
All right, so you're dodging the question. What's the hardest rink you've had to stream in, dudes?
I'm just trying to think. I'm buying myself some time.
Right,
I would say the Newport Arena in Brooklyn.
Okay.
So our live stream manager now, we wanted to give him his first test. Jeff, he's a beauty, man, does a great job now. And the same thing. We had one of those wireless hubs where we paid for data. We hardwired. We went from the computer and the camera and all that stuff down to an iPhone. And it just we just couldn't get it. And even when we did, it would come up for 5 minutes and then it would shut down and you'd have to restart. And it was just, he ended up pulling it off somewhat. I can't remember what we did, but it was bad, man. They're still on YouTube and I'll go back and watch every now and then. And it's, you honestly, if you were a parent, you wouldn't know where your kid was. You wouldn't.
Was there commentary?
Was there.
Okay.
And that was a big part of it. So yeah, commentary.
There you go. That's interesting.
I can't believe Corey mentioned Doketown because we've actually had quite a few good streams there. Trackety was the absolute worst.
But we've got a connection now with the Zamboni driver Trackety, so we're gold.
There you go.
We're gold. He gave me his business card.
That building is so old. Baby Jesus was still in the manger when they were building it.
It's an old one, man. It's a beauty though. What a gorgeous rink. One of my favorites.
It even has internet type arena,
Oh yeah. But the kind of rink that you want to play in, 3 wooden benches for seats on either side, just beautiful and cold as hell. You're in the North Pole. That's my kind of rink.
Ice good as shit, though. I bet in that rink.
Yeah. The ice is gorgeous.
Absolutely. When you say long wood, is it just 3 rows of just one big piece?
Yeah.
Right across?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the rinks I grew up playing in, man.
Same. That's my favorite kind of rink. There's only a few of them left, so I appreciate those for sure. Definitely. So now High Button Podcast kind of took off too. You guys have had some phenomenal guests.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the Nathan McKinnon ones a lot personally. I find that kind of interesting. What's the connection there and how do you make those happen?
The Nate McKinnon one was a special one, man. That was episode 299. We were pushing 300, which was at that point insane to us. It even to this day, it's kind of I can't believe people listen, but just 2 idiots talking shit is basically what it is. But right, you guys know the feeling, right?
Yeah. This is our 99th episode. This is going to be our 99th episode today.
Gretzky episode.
Oh yeah.
What an honor. That's big shoes to fill, though. Holy.
No pressure. Okay. You're wearing your Ducks hat. You're fine.
Yeah, quack, quack, baby. No ducks given. So at the beginning, man, we would just message anybody. And I'm fortunate enough. I have some friends that played some good hockey. Tyson Alders, one of the guys that is in the ownership group with the Ducks. And, Tyler Noseworthy, you probably heard that name. Yep. Guys like that. So we just started kind of local, wanted to get those guys to tell the stories, and we would message anybody, man. And there was no plan. It was if anybody said yes, you did it. And I remember the first like checkpoint, I guess you could call it, or milestone was like, I think Noah Dobson.
Okay.
A good PEI boy there. And he actually gave us his time, which was, surprising at that point. But the Nate McKinnon one, we have a buddy that he's friends with that we grew up playing with. Ian Sabb, his name is. And he's friends with Nate even to this day. I'm not really sure how it came about. We would message him all the time, man, between me and you guys. And, but you don't expect the guys to respond. We're not idiots. Like, I understand what's going on. And eventually he responded one time and gave us, an hour of his day. And it was like, I still am kind of, almost fangirled him, but you can't be like that when he's in the studio, right? But it was a big moment, man, for sure. And it's crazy to think where it's gone.
The generosity of hockey players is something, though. Like, they understand you're invested. They understand you're coming from a genuine place. But yeah, man, you've also had some solid, some other solid ones. What's your most memorable guest other than Nate?
I think I would have to say Jonathan Torrens. I mean, that one's obviously recent in my memory, but I grew up a massive Trailer Park Boys fan. I got in a lot of trouble in school growing up, dropping their quotes and shit like that. So, and quite frankly, I've taken a few of the Ricky-isms and Ricky lessons, and they've actually helped me out in my life, if you can believe it. But that one was memorable, but not because I loved Trailer Park Boys, but just like kind of the advice that he was giving us, which was just like organically given, like we weren't asking for it or anything like that. But he was super, super insightful, and just like you could really tell that he hustled to get where he was, and that's kind of how you have to do it.
Yeah, for sure. We skipped this, but what did you do before High Button Dudes?
How much time do you have?
Oh, my goodness, as much as you need.
I did a ton of stuff that I hated. I can tell you that. A few things that I did like. One thing that I did for a while with a bunch of the boys, one of our buddies' dad owned a business. And there was like 6 of my best buddies. We all worked there together. It was a fitness company, which is funny because I hate working out. But I kind of did just a bunch of random stuff. I honestly didn't do much, man. I would say High Button definitely, not to get like too sentimental, kind of helped me figure out what I wanted to do and kind of change my pathway a little bit, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. 100%. Because when you're passionate about something, suddenly it's not work, right? It's
right.
It's fun. Not to be sentimental or like cliche, but the podcast, what we do, going to games and interviewing people and talking to people, it's not work, right? We all have side gigs. We both have jobs, but we do this for fun. I do this for free. It's fine. So it's really a pleasure. So I get you.
I agree with that, man. And to be just back in the game of hockey, I took, I think, 1 year off completely away, and it wasn't for me. That's where I'm most comfortable. I'm sure that's where you guys are very comfortable too. And even for you guys, man, like the kilometers and stuff you put on, that's when I was starting to like introduce you guys to stuff at our like meetings and like in where we get together and we talk about, the streams and stuff like that, and people tagging us and that kind of stuff, if you can believe it. Like you guys just doing this basically out of the goodness of your heart for the passion of the game, right? And that's kind of where I probably resonate with you guys and like to follow along, because it's pretty easy to support somebody by just clicking and sharing. But now that we're kind of in it, it almost feels like we're a team without even fully announcing it. You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%, definitely. Yeah. It's like us. We'd love to share your stuff. Love to push people towards those streams. People actually hit us up and they're like, "Are you guys going to stream any Ducks games this year?" And I was like, I don't know why I would try to stream a Ducks game when there's the best of the best for the Maritimes is already there. Like, enjoy it, take advantage, and we'll just take some pictures and sit back. It's great.
Great.
And then we'll watch some. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's become a passion, a hobby. But I appreciate the kilometers. So over 10,000 last winter, which is pretty cool. We're going to Dalhousie this weekend, which is like, I don't know, 350 kilometers from us or 300 kilometers from us. So you get a 600 kilometer round trip. But again, it's how generous the people are, right? Meeting those people in those little communities, they're pretty wicked.
Yeah, and I find that when you get into places like that too, like the small towns and in the small arenas, you start to have the faith in the society again. You get in there and these people are so graceful and they're asking you, are you good? Do you want this? Here's, thanks for coming, guys, all that stuff. And when you set out to start your day, that's not what you're looking for. You're not like geez, I hope someone tells me or asks me if I want something today. It's like, no, it's like, you guys love what you're doing. So you're going to do what's necessary to make it happen, because that's passion, man. That's what it is.
The rest of it's just the gravy. So to go from streaming a ton of minor hockey, finally getting your foot in the door at senior, how did that come about with the Ducks? Can you walk me through that?
Yeah, for sure. So the ownership group there, Tyson Alder, Shane Robar, I know Parker. I butcher his fucking name every time. Dean, I know the guy.
Parker Dean.
I always call him Deegs, so I assume.
Yeah, exactly. So Deegs, everybody knows Deegs. It's good.
I'll be honest with you, I'm too scared to ask him. So he was a prick to play against, man, and probably one of the only guys I was actually kind of scared of. But maybe edit this part out.
I don't think we will. We're just gonna let it go.
Oh man, shit. All right, I'm gonna hear about it, but that's fine. But those guys, like Tyson's one of my good buddies, one of my best friends, actually. I kind of put that lightly. He's going to be in my my wedding party, so that tells you that. Him and I played junior B together and just stayed really close friends over the years. They kind of got their feet wet in the major Bantam programs in the last couple of years, which I've come to help with those guys, and I've really enjoyed that. And then I think they ended up going down to Spring Hill, and I don't know what happened down there with swearing at and all that stuff. I don't really ask too many questions, but they got their feet wet there in Spring Hill, and then all of a sudden they moved to Amherst, and just with being good buddies and stuff like that, those guys are trying to spearhead senior hockey in Nova Scotia. So I figured, you know what, we're good buddies. These guys have helped us. Let's help them. Let's help get their name out there. And you know, it's been really good so far. Like, the feedback's been really good. People love watching fights online, and let's call a spade. This is the last of the old school hockey, fellas. You know, this is the only shit you can fight and drop the mitts, and people, you know, go to watch fights, and there's a need for it out there. There really is. So it has really worked out for us, but yeah, just trying to help the fellas out, and, you know, they wanted to offer it for free. So they worked hard to make that happen. So yeah, you know, it's been really fun with those guys. And obviously I have a little bit of a soft spot for where it's my good buddies, right? So
yeah. Senior hockey has been good though so far. You guys are enjoying streaming. It's pretty cool to see it on your platform.
Well, I try to watch as many games that I, you know, obviously kind of in a management role, I try to check in all the time, but I always find myself locked into those Ducks games, man. And like I said, personal connection, right? I'm a little bit biased, but I'm looking for the same stuff, man. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s. I want to see the big hits. I want to see the hip checks. I'm okay with guys getting suckered, you know, like, but it is like, it's the emotions of the game. Nobody likes getting suckered, but shit happens when you're out there and you're playing with passion and you're playing, you know, playing hard. And at the end of the day, these guys, that's how their brains are wired, man. Like, I've noticed that playing beer league, I've gotten away from it now, but at the beginning you're like, why can't I just like chill out here, you know? And they got jobs and families, so aggression comes out a little extra sometimes, but man, it's been great. People are really loving it. It's our most commented on thing for sure.
That's interesting. I'm glad to hear that, man. It's you know, Parker and I have talked about that, but the need for senior hockey and some of these guys that are high level athletes being able to stay competitive in their own backyards, it's just so important. I mean, beer league's great for the bulk of us, but there is these percentage of guys that could play pro in Europe if they wanted to, frankly. Parker could easily be in Europe right now.
Yes.
But he wants to be closer to home. He's got a career. He's got a wife and a life. So we're very privileged to be able to see some damn good hockey for $12.
Right. And I mean, let's even if you just go through a couple of the names real quick, you start with the JCs there. Obviously, you got Parento, right? Like, if you don't know who PA Parento is, then I don't, quite frankly, find you that big of a hockey fan, if I'm being honest. But Patrice Cormier, obviously, a lot of us grew up around that name. He played World Juniors, played AHL for a long time. He's got a big stint in the NHL. Like, he's NHL quality player. Who else is there? Kelsey Tessier was a guy I remember.
Yeah.
And even
big Halifax guy, Trey Lewis, is back in the Hawks.
He's gonna be pissed that I didn't name him.
I know. I don't blame him. I'll send him your way.
No, don't send him my way. No, I'll be able to talk him off the ledge. Him and I we had a few suds back in the day, you know, when he was around Halifax. So he's a good cat, man.
Trey was actually the first interview that we ever had.
Oh, so yeah?
We're from Rishabakto. I grew up knowing Trey's dad. So when we launched this, you know, to go from like launching it and nobody knows who you are to go in public with it to teams and being like, hey, I'm the guy behind this shit. So I just messaged him one day and I was like, hey, I'm not sure if you've heard the podcast, but I'm behind it. And I'd love to have you on as first guest. And he's, Trey's a generous guy. He's a nice guy, as scary as he is. He's true, though. Great guy. So we're like, yeah, Trey, if you can come on straight away, came on our first guest. And I think that kind of helped propel us because it legitimized us in a way, right? We had one of the top players in the league be our first guest. So that's how it started. And here we are with the high button dudes. So it's a good time.
Yeah, it's crazy. Trey Lewis he's for how scary he is, and you said it already, he's such a nice guy. You know what I mean? Like 100%. I remember we asked him to come on and we were like, geez, I hope he responds even, and he was like, yeah, man, absolutely. But that's all it is, man. Like, it's just one guy and then the next guy, and then he believes in you, and then the word of mouth gets out there. But it's nerve-wracking when you put it out there, isn't it? Like when you first go live with it and stuff, you're like, oh, geez, okay, here we go.
I agree completely. It's a little scary.
Sure.
Corey, this has been a good one. You have any other questions for our friend here?
No, just keep it up, man. I've watched a few when we aren't on the road. When the Ducks have home games, I sit in my computer and I watch it, and always have a blast. I always try to have a bottle of tequila to say how many to have a shot every time I hear Ramblers. So,
oh yes, Jesus.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate your time. We don't want to take too much of it, but you're always welcome here. If you ever want to pop by, just let me know, and we'll make it happen.
Listen, fellas, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always fun chatting. Anybody that knows me knows that I like to chat. You guys, man, give a shout out to you guys. You guys are single-handedly putting this league on the map over the last few years. Quite frankly, that's how I've even found it, was through you guys. And then obviously now I have a weirder connection with it, but good job for you guys. You guys are in the exact same boat as us, man. You guys took a risk, kind of, took a passion and put it together, which sometimes makes risk. And you guys are doing a great job, man. And I love following along, and I look forward to crossing paths with you guys again.
Thanks, dudes. Appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good, boys. See you at the rink.
See you.
See you soon.